Hello guys, so this was our first true day of walking. We did 11 miles out of 101 kilometers, so you have to do your own conversion on your own time, but it was a really good day, a really fun day, and it started with me having a bit of an epiphany, not in a good way, that for the past months, they've been saying you can only have one piece of baggage. The service will only bring one piece of baggage per person per hotel. And in my mind, this whole time for about a year, I thought in my mind a piece of suitcase, not also like backpacks. And this whole backpack was filled with celiac food pretty much. So I was not willing to kind of crush that. It was my sustenance for the whole trip. So I spent the morning trying to adhere the two together as one with trash bags and paper clips. So that's what that image is of. But then we got to a really nice breakfast. This was probably my favorite breakfast out of all the breakfasts provided to us. And they gave me so many gluten-free like breads and muffins, which really, really were my saving grace in the later towns where there wasn't as much availability of that kind of thing. This was the view from the hotel, super nice, and then we started the trek out of like this, you're kind of in like a divot. We had to climb out of the city, literally out of the city, and the pilgrims we met on the way were like, oh my gosh, getting out of the city, like climbing out of the city, very, very tough work. But I had a good time. I enjoyed the walk. This was a cool statue, and then we went into a church to get our first stamp. Very, very big deal in the stamp world. You got to get a lot of stamps. But we got our first stamp, and then a grace-filled moment would be when the priest allotted me the opportunity to use the bathroom in there, which in Europe, oh my gosh, just really means the world. Then we continued, and you might have to look closely, maybe look 2 times, but here in this image you can see our very first unofficial marker. So on the path, the pilgrimage way, you have to follow arrows. Little yellow arrows lead the way. A lot of times they're on, like they're formal and like a nice stone, which you'll see in a minute, but also sometimes they're just spray painted yellow construction looking arrows. And that was our first clue. We are going the correct way. Here's a pretty cool flower I've never seen in my life. And then we got to the waterfall, which is where we had our lunch break. And it was really a great time. I wanted to explore the waterfall, like climb it, and nobody else was really willing to do that. Except for the guy leading us. He went up there with me, and we climbed so high to the top. And it was really, really cool. And then on the way down, this is just kind of like a little God moment, you could say. I was climbing down, and it's almost harder to go down than to go up because you lose your grip. And I started to like run because it was so steep, but I couldn't really stop myself. And then this other guy from our trip, he just like spawned there out of nowhere and put his arm out and really like saved me from face planting. And from there on out, we became like a little trio. Like we were leading the way and just got really close. Like this was the beginning of our bonding, which I did not know at the time. But it was really, really, really cool. So yeah, we had our lunch there. And it's just really cool to also feel the support. So also on this day, Lisa had my lunch for me in her bag because I brought a really small hiking backpack. I didn't realize at the time. And then tons of other groups came, and I left my passport, my stamp passport, my pilgrimage passport number. I actually did leave my real passport at the airport. That's a whole other story. But I also left my stamp passport, which would have been devastating, at the bottom of the waterfall. Like I don't know, I got excited and I left all my stuff. And the shell, my pilgrimage shell, and Hannah brought for me my passport, and Billy found my shell. And I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's just looking out for each other. It's just so nice to feel supported. And then also there's this guy doing handmade stamps, which was really so cool. He had the wax there and just all day. He's been doing that. And I asked him, he didn't really speak English. I didn't really speak Spanish, but I did happen to get across, like, okay, how long have you been here? And he's like, I've been here since 9. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I gave him some apple chips as a pick-me-up because he's got to be dying. Then we continued. Here's some views. And then also this bridge, we're going to walk all the way around the whole bridge. Just keep that in mind.
1, 2,
Yay for side 1 of the bridge.
I got it on video.
Oh, Aka's just the photographer. He's so funny. Then here is our another marker, and then me and Yvonne, we got really close too. We were good exploration buddies. And then the church. Here's one of the churches that we got to peek inside. That was through the glass. It's actually super cool. This was the cemetery portion. And then we had a bit of a mix-up with the sleeping arrangements. But it was all fine and dandy in the long run. And I ended up navigating us. I was recruited by Aga, the same guy who rescued me from the waterfall, and Lisa to navigate us through the streets. So that made me confident. It just kind of reminds you, like, you can do it and you can lead others too. And it was so sweet. He carried my bag for me all through the streets. And then I got us there successfully. We all worked together to get up the stuff. And it was actually so fun. It was like a scavenger hunt. And because it was like I think we ended up having to be in like an Airbnb. And it was like in the black box and press this number. And then you'll see 2 doors. Click on the black door. Push this thing. It was so fun. I was having a blast, actually. And it was it was funny. Me and Aga took a journey to the market, and he got this laundry soap, and we laughed about this the whole trip, but he was hand washing his clothes. He ended up putting the clothes in the washer, and it overflowed with bubbles. And then I did the same thing with my clothes, and literally no soap. Not one bubble could be found. And I kept adding more and more and more and more soap. No bubble, not one, not a singular bubble. So anyway, while we were waiting for that fiasco to be done, we prayed the rosary together. And I don't really pray the rosary with other people, but he taught me such a profound way to do it that has completely changed the way that I pray the rosary. Such a deeper appreciation, and that like stuck with me so hard the rest of the trip, and even now. And if you want more information, I'll be happy to provide it. But anyway, it was just like a really cool, moving day where like things would happen and it'd be a little crazy, but we had a good attitude, and we learned something, and we connected, and it was just fun.